Okay, cool. So we're starting with Cover FX Gripping Primer. Just going to put a little bit in the T-zone because I always have trouble with my foundation staying on. And this is just going to help even us out a little bit, help the foundation stick to our face. And we're going to put this away because we don't want to make a big mess here. That would not be fun. And then I have my Physicians Formula, the Healthy Foundation. It's a light to medium coverage, is a little bit buildable. It works for me. Use what you use, and I'm just gonna paint this on here. I put a lot because I like to build that coverage because my skin's not perfect, as we can see. And I'm just gonna take a little bit on the neck. A little bit on the nose because I'm very red here. So I do look crazy, but we're gonna just take a little sponge. We're gonna blend everything out. Grab a little mirror. And I'm just taking, closing my mouth a little bit when I blend over it because I'm wearing chapstick just to make my lips not so dry before I put my lipstick on. Just blending everything in. Making sure I don't look like a crazy person because that happens as per usual. And just blend down the neck so that you don't have a mask. Even though you're going to try to match your foundation as close as you can, doesn't always work out the way you want it to. Okay, so now that I have everything blended out and I don't have any crazy lines or anything, again, the light coverage is a little bit easier to blend out, and you don't end up with so many lines when you do like a full coverage, because when you do a full coverage, it's really pigmented, obviously. And I just have a small tart shape tape, putting some underneath the eye because I don't get enough sleep. Says everyone. And then I'm just going to blend this out. And I'm going to just take a little bit and use it as my primer on my eyes. This isn't always the most ideal for people. A lot of people like to use an actual eye primer. And that's not an issue, but I'm just trying to cut my corners here. Make everything a little bit more fast. Now that everything's blended in, again, I'm going to take my Coty Airspun in translucent extra coverage. A little powdery. It's powder. Just taking my sponge, going in and baking a little bit. So it's just going to brighten up, give a little bit more extra coverage. And always take it around the nose. And I do wear glasses, so I take it up pretty high. And then I just take whatever's left on my sponge and press it into my eye area. And then I'm going to use, again, whatever's left and just keep going around the face. So now, when I'm still baking, I generally do my eyes now. So I'm going to grab my Morphe palette. It is the 350 Nature Glow palette. And it has a lot of naturals, neutrals. And I'm just going to grab a couple fluffy blending brushes. So what I have is a big fluffy brush and a smaller fluffy brush. And I'm just going to take the lightest shade in here and fluff that all over. And I'm not doing anything too extravagant. I like to stay with the neutrals, just keep it really simple. Then I'm going to go See this one right here. Again, just outer corner. It's not adding a lot, it's just adding a little bit of depth, a little bit of dimension, keeping it very neutral. And I just went over one color. Again, just a little bit deeper, bringing in a little bit more depth, but nothing too much. This is just a very simple, very easy to get with look. And what I'll normally do is I'll take one of these deeper shades. I'm going to mix these two. So they're just a little bit darker. And I'm going to put it right here on the outer V of the eye. See, it's nothing too dark, nothing too much. Something pretty much anybody can handle. And I'm just putting it right there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the lighter color of these two back on my fluffy brush. And I'm just going to bring that up and blend it out. Again, very quick. It just added a little bit of depth, and it made my eye area look a lot more defined. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the skinny brush again, and I'm going to take this deep shade, and I'm just going to connect underneath here. And that is a little bit much. I'm just going back in. So what I'm going to do, if it's a little bit too much, I'm going to take my fluffy brush. And this is just out of ease. It's nothing too much. So see how everything just connects a little bit better? It looks a little put together, but you didn't spend 10 hours, so you look nice. And then I'm just going to grab my highlighter. So I have an Ofra highlight. This is in Everglow. And I'm going to mix the darkest shade and then the medium shade. And then I'm just going to put it right in the middle. And it just adds a nice little shine. It makes your eye pop a little bit and you look really pretty. And again, just mixing, putting it on the other eye. See, it just opens up your eye. It gives you a little bit of brightness. And then for the face to finish, I'm going to take a big brush and just a little bit of extra powder. And I'm just going to pat it into the skin. And I'm not sweeping away the bake because I don't want to create a big plume of dust. I just want to gently tap it into the skin, work it around. So for me, that's enough. And I'm not going to add a lot of extra powder because my skin is dry. It tends to look really cakey and I don't like that look. So I'm just going to take my contour palette and I take this shade and this shade because I'm very fair skinned. And I mix those together so that I have a little bit of contour, but I also get a little bit of bronze. And I add them together at the same time just so I don't have to do an extra step. So I'm going to squeeze the brush, make it nice and thin, drag it in the back. And it's not going to add a ton of pigment. It's just going to make everything look a little bit more put together. And I'm going to sweep across the nose. And again, just fast, simple, easy. I want to get outside.